Okay.
Hi, thank you very much. This is Crossroads and everyone on the radio. Good evening. Also, I'm on the podcast. On the radio, you will be able to hear Mark's Mark's songs and everything. On here, we tried it on here before, but what happened is that we don't get a good kind of like reception on here, and I will not in future be playing anything on here, but I will do it on my radio. I promise. Okay, good evening, and don't forget if you've got any messages, please let us know. And good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I tell you what, I've been watching some of your shows, mate. Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah,
You look so different. I like
yeah.
you've got your shirt on, your jacket on, and just one question when I ask you, when you're singing, why do you face the wall all the time? Is it because you want it to escape?
What? By the face the wall? Well, so what? I'll tell you what it is. It's the Facebook thing where they always want to cut you off. So I'm always looking to see if I'm being cut or not. I'm kind of, looking like that to check all the time because it's quite nerve-wracking. You're in the middle of a performance and they just decide to cut you for copyright issues and things like that. So that's probably one of the reasons why I'm looking over at the laptop.
No, it's like when you're dancing and all of a sudden you're facing the character, and I'm thinking, what's
Oh,
it?
I turn round. You mean I turn round to my back to the camera?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what that is. That's my mum. She likes to see the back of me. She says she can't wait to see the back of me. So she asked me, could I turn round? Because apparently it's it's very becoming. So I kind of do that, put that into my set now. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And it's
So everybody wants to see you boogle your bum, do they?
that's exactly right. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I must say though, the shows are getting better and better all the time. I'm getting more sexier every show. I must admit, the women are. I need to get a bigger stick, Steve.
Yeah, I can see that with your show and everything because you got a big following now, haven't you?
Oh, I think I've got about 3 people now. Yeah.
No, you haven't.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I've got roughly about maybe 40, 50 or something like that. But I'm looking to get more. I mean, I'd like to hit the 100. So that'd
Well,
be
you
nice.
have. You got 126. What I counted the other day.
Really? On a,
Yeah.
on a live show?
Yeah, you had 126 people on the live show the other day.
Oh wow, that's that. I'm delighted to hear that because, well, from what I could see on my laptop, it was showing like 48, 46, 52.
Yeah, you
Perhaps.
don't see. The trouble is, what they do, they come off, go back on, come back off, and go on. And you're thinking, but then I just keep eye on the people that's coming on, different people that's coming on new people.
Yeah.
And
Well,
some people say they can't get on, and
yeah. Well, you've made my night then, Steve. I can only say because for that kind of figures, I'm delighted. Absolutely delighted. Yep, yep.
the trouble is, though, not many people, probably people do know you, but can you explain because when you first started doing music, what made you kind of like do music? You could done something else, couldn't you?
I could have, yes. I love music, as I say, it's in my blood, and I love rock and roll and blues and country, and I just love it. And I've never always been good vocally as I am now, but I've taken singing lessons over the years, and as I say, my vocals improved. And obviously, when you get a little bit older, your vocal gets a bit deeper too, which I've noticed. So I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and also kind of like when you kind of like get ready for a show on Facebook, have you got like a set list of what you're going to do, or are you open that people come on and say, "Oh, you've got a certain dedication"? Say,
I have a set list, yeah. Usually what I try to do is I have a closed set list on the Friday and I have an open show on the Sunday, so anything goes on Sunday. I do 2 shows on Facebook, as you know, Friday 8:30 UK time and Sunday 5:45 UK time. The Sunday show is open to requests. Friday I try to keep to a closed set rather, but I'm just a nice guy. I'm a pushover, Steve, and people come on and ask for requests. 9 times out of 10 I'll just do them, not unless it's something.
Also, you get stars all the time as well, don't you?
I do, yes, I do. Yep, I do. So we're getting more and more stars as time goes on, which I really appreciate. I'm trying to grow the audience as much as I can, and I have my own Facebook group called Memphis Smart Music, which is a public group, and I'd love people to join that. I've got about 870 odd members. And one of our good friends on Facebook, Stephanie Vanko, she's just become the admin of the group. Yeah, she's become the admin because it was getting too much for me to handle with the singing, the rehearsing, learning the lyrics, all that kind of thing. So Stephanie's got a proven track record with other ETAs, and she's actually built them up and got a higher viewing figures. So I says, well, what the heck? Steph's a nice girl, we'll give it a shot and see how we go on. And she seems to have done quite well. She's got 17 new members of the groups in 24 hours, so without me doing a thing. So I'm delighted with that.
Oh yeah, she's getting I even added it. I said, Steph, you're not going to bar me if I wind them up. And she said, of course not. We enjoy it, but I want to do that. But the trouble is, Mark. You've gone on Facebook. You're doing so well. Everybody loves you. And let's put jokes aside. And I really do like you. You're a really good singer. You know what you're doing. What do you think about other ETAs?
I think a lot of them are very good. There's really quite a few. There's on the site I'm on, Elvis Tribute Artists. There's some good ones, really good ones. There's some not so good, but we'll try our best, Steve. And the old adage, as I say, is you could take one Elvis song, and you could get 10 different ETAs to sing the same song, and they'd all sing it differently. You know what I mean? It's their take on it. It's their stamp. And a good friend of mine, Gillian Toogood, she always says to me, basically that an ETA, an Elvis tribute artist, necessarily doesn't need to sound like Elvis. They're only trying to purvey the memory of Elvis and a tribute to Elvis. We're not trying to be Elvis. Just sing Elvis songs. Some people sing Elvis songs in an Elvis style, or they try to, and other ETAs don't. They just sing it in their own natural voice, which, it's just every bit as good. You put your own stamp on it, and as I say, what more can you really,
Yeah, what can you say?
Yeah.
Elvis tribute artists has been good for me, and because they sent me over quite a lot of guests, and I do thank them for that. But you got to admit, sometimes there are people who goes on Elvis tribute artists, and I'm not saying anything horrible, but they helped us through the COVID. But there are some people that you wish not to be on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would never criticise anyone. You know what I mean? I'm not a person to criticise anybody. The people are doing their best, and that is their best. And it takes a lot of courage and, to go up there and put yourself on a fence like that. And for people to knock you off the fence, I would say, well, if you're not happy with those singers, go up, yourself and try it. I mean, I've had a few recently, last week or so, I've had a few, how can you say, trolls. Someone accusing me of miming to Elvis songs,
Yeah. I was in one of your things the other day, and someone was doing it. I said, if you don't like it, get off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry.
Go on, carry on. Go on.
I don't bother about the trolls. I mean, it's fun, but as I say, I don't get involved, because if you get too involved, it just escalates, and where does it end, really? So I just ignore it, to be honest with you.
Do you ever get shook up with all these trolls?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you.
Do you ever get all shook up with all these trolls?
Oh, all the time, yeah. As I say, you're just in front of a camera, so you don't really know who's there, but Like I actually perform a show as if it's a live event. If I'm in a venue somewhere, I know it's just the camera, Steve, but I give it my all as if I'm in an actual live venue.
Oh,
Some
I can see it that you
ETAs
give your
don't.
all.
Yeah, some ETAs just sit in a chair like this and just hold a microphone and sing half asleep. But I actually perform as if I'm at an actual show, you know, and I always have done that. I'm exhausted after it. I'm absolutely exhausted after it. I have to lie down for about an hour and a half and chill out after it.
That's why I keep on asking you to sing Suspicious Minds all the time.
Yeah, definitely,
yeah. But the trouble is, do you ever get odd requests? Do you get
I
people
do.
yeah?
Yeah, sometimes you get non-Elvis songs and which are very obscure, and sometimes you get, you know, very, very obscure Elvis tracks. There was one lady in particular a few weeks back asked me for a track from the film Roustabout from 1964 called Little Egypt. And Little Egypt, it's not a good song, you know, it's just, I sang it though, but it was absolutely dire. It says never again, you know. So I try and keep away from the movie tracks. I mean, Elvis himself hated the majority of them, singing them, you know. He actually couldn't wait to get out the studio and finish. And there's a few stories that he was recording some of the songs and halfway through he had the lyric sheet in the studio and he just tossed it across the room and walked out because he was so frustrated. But he was under contract to the movie companies and all the soundtracks and things to record all these songs, you know, which was a shame, really, you know, it was a shame. But that's how it was, his management, Colonel Tom Parker at the time.
Okay. So this is Crossroads, and that's Crossroads podcast and radio. I'm going to play one of Mark's songs now, and we'll be back in a few takes.
Those early days, and a dozen times ago, I reached out one night and you were gone. Oh, why you run? What you running to or from? And all I know is I want to bring you home. So get in the rain, thumbing food riding on the lonely Kentucky back road. I loved you much too long, and my love's too strong to let you go. Never knowing what went wrong. Yeah, Kentucky rain keeps pouring down, and it's another town that I'll go walking through with the rain in my shoes. Searching for you in the cold Kentucky rain, in the cold Kentucky rain. I showed you photograph of some old gray-bearded man sitting on the bench outside a general store. And said, yes, she's been here, but her memory wasn't clear. Was it yesterday? No way, the day before. Finally go right, the rage of man who asked, came out on such a cold, dark afternoon. To go on through the rain, as you listened, I explained, you let me with a prayer that I find you. Yeah. Kentucky rain keeps pouring down, and up ahead to the town that I'll go walking through with the rain in my shoes. Searching for you in the cold Kentucky rain, in the cold Kentucky rain, in the cold Kentucky rain, the cold Kentucky rain. Feel the cold Kentucky rain. Feel the cold Kentucky rain.
Yeah, that was Kentucky Rain. And that was Mark Gorman and Crossroads Podcast, Crossroads Radio. And if you're lucky, he might send this to you. If you're lucky, just leave us a message and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Mark.
Yes, Steve.
That was a bit of a surprise for you, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, definitely was, yeah.
Yes,
nice. It's not always nice to hear yourself singing.
Mark, I'm telling you now, that was fantastic, mate. That was really fantastic.
Thank you.
And the trouble is, I think sometimes, are you a person who puts yourself down quite a bit when you're singing?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'm always looking to make it better.
Yeah.
Because
you sound to be like that. You want everything done properly. You want the tune to be sound, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, to that, you want your music out there because, well, you just love what you're doing, don't you?
I do, yes, yeah. And as I say, I'm working on a CD. It isn't nowhere near ready yet because I had a bit of a vocal throat problem in the last wee while. The last 3 weeks or so ago, I lost my voice totally, and I couldn't sing for 2 weeks. So I was off Elvis Tribute Artists for 2 weeks. And as I say, I really missed the shows, Steve. I mean, you know, you're up there performing, and when you get used to it, I've been doing it since mid-March. And as I say, to be off for 2 weeks, you don't half miss it. Telling you, don't half miss it.
I know you do, yeah. And have you got any gigs lined up?
Yeah, well, I'm working this Saturday in a little town in Scotland. So I'm up there at 9:15 start to 12:30. So we're doing a wee gig up there. And as I say, that's about 30 miles from where I stay. So looking forward to that. It's the first gig in about 15 months. So Scotland, where I'm based, Scotland opened up there on Monday. All the entertainment opened up. So our First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, decided that we were going to follow England out and continue. So that's what we're doing. So I'm so looking forward to being in front of a live audience again and performing and getting a reaction, because you don't get a reaction from the camera, obviously, when you're doing Facebook. But I still enjoy Facebook, to be honest.
Yeah. Now, the most embarrassing moment for you. The trouble is, I've asked you this before, but I want to ask you.
Yeah.
I want not to ask you for the stage one. I want to find out, have you ever been to any gigs that you didn't want to go to?
No.
Like the building falling apart, or...
Oh, do you mean myself doing the gig and it didn't work out, you mean?
Yeah, or you
yes,
went to...
There was one in particular. I went to a club, I don't know when it was, about 10 years ago or something. And what happened was I damaged a torn ligament in my right leg. I'd fallen over and I had to go to the hospital and get it. And the doctor said to me it was actually worse than a break. But I had to still gig, and I was using crutches, and my dad was driving me to all my gigs. And this particular gig I went to do, I was working with another singer. She did one half and I did the other half. And because of the pain in my leg, I'd forgotten all my lyrics. I just inadvertently forgot that I had the sore leg, shall we say, torn ligaments. And I was trying to do my movements and things, and I just damaged it further. But the show had to continue, and it was dire. I was in so much pain. And even the audience said to me they could see the pain in your face. But I continued, and it just wasn't a good gig, Steve. That was the only one.
Yeah. Have you ever been to some clubs where there've been right dive or something, or?
Yes. There's been one or two. Yeah, it's been troublesome. Yeah, you get them. There's a little a town just outside Glasgow called Paisley, and I used to go there back in the 90s, and it was a reputation for knives and things. That was like a knife town, and people were getting stabbed all the time. And I was at one gig with my dad being my roadie, and there was a guy who was chatting to some guy's girlfriend, and the guy couldn't take it, and he just went towards him and stabbed him. And he was about maybe 10 feet in front of me, maybe 6 feet even, when I was doing my stuff. And the guy was pouring the blood, and they fell down, and the police, the ambulance, the whole lot were all there, and bottles of them were getting thrown about. And my dad and I had to duck behind everything so we wouldn't get, hurt. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, we're going to play another song now. It's 8:20, and this is Crossroads.
Here we go. I just want to do it. We're gonna die. We're gonna down the Penny Won't Let It Roll. Yeah. You got me do what you want me. Oh, baby, what you want me to do.
Yeah.
You got me peeping. You got me hiding. You got me peeping, hide me anywhere you want me to roll. Yeah. You got me do what you want me. Oh, baby, what you want me to do. Now, let's go. We're gonna die. We're gonna down anyway you want it to roll. Yeah. You got me do what you want me. Oh, baby, what you want me to do. You got me peeping. You got me hiding. You got me peeping, hide me anyway you want it to roll. Yeah. You got me do what you want me. Oh, baby, what you want me to do.
Oh, yeah. That is Mark Gorman, and it's 22 minutes past 8 o'clock on your Wednesday evening. Mark.
Yes, Steve.
Now, let's get on to this marriage business.
Okay, you want to marry me?
No.
Because Steve, I've decided, right, it's the 21st century. When I was always set in my ways, like a rock and roller 50s kind of guy. And, so I'm open, whatever. If you want to marry me, let's get married.
No, I'm only joking. Now, wait, I know you, because you live in Scotland. Is that right? You live in
That's
Scotland.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And the trouble is, during the lockdown, I think Sturgeon was kind of like, do you think Sturgeon was right to close everything down? Because surely, at that particular time when she first decided to lock everything down, the music industry, especially in Scotland, was actually growing.
Yeah.
Do you think the music industry is kind of like leveling it off now and going back down again because of the virus?
Well, it's definitely went down, but a lot of people have turned to Facebook and done a lot of gigs, a lot of performers and things, and they've made a living from it, being able to pay the bills and buy food and things from it. So I think Scottish musicians, though, that they've got something. I'm not against English people at all because they're fabulous, but I think us Scots have got a little bit extra something there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Simple Minds, people like that, and Deacon Blue and all that kind of stuff, and all the kind of, Frankie Miller, all that kind of bluesy stuff going on, which I love.
Yeah, we had Shaky Stevens, and
oh, I love Shaky Stevens. You know that Steve Shaky's I love Shaky. He is I would say, the best UK singer as far as I'm concerned. 32 consecutive top 20 hits, amazing. And as I say, I've followed him my whole life.
Yeah, Shaky Stevens, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
love him.
until he reached that green door, and that was it then, wasn't it? He left.
Yeah. Oh well. As I say, I like all his stuff. Green Door's a bit twee, Scottish word twee. It's a bit, it's not too good. But as I say, but all his bluesy stuff is amazing. I like all his B-sides. And on the 45s years ago, they used to have 45s. The B-sides, Shaky wrote himself, and all those B-sides are just cooking. They're really amazing, And I sing some of those and pass them off as my own when I'm live gigging. I go, this is a song I wrote while I'm stuck in traffic. Unfortunately, there's not very many Shakin' Stevens fans about, so no one can contradict me. And they think, wow, that guy's a singer, plays a songwriter as well. Fabulous.
Well, I put Shaky Stevens down the other day on radio, not on my podcast like we're doing now, but on radio. And
Yeah.
we had loads of complaints coming through. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we got a few. Yeah, we got a few. The trouble is, so when you're not kind of like doing your gigs, what do you do to relax? Do you kind of like listen to different music, or do you like playing, rock and roll all the time? What do you do?
Music-wise, I listen to a little bit of country. I'm into IT. I do a bit of IT and things, and I like watching a little bit of sci-fi. I'm a big Trekkie. And Stargate SG-1, Atlantis, and Universe, and all that. I love all that. I'm a sci-fi freak, yeah, definitely. And the old movies from years ago, back in the 80s and 90s, the movies were fabulous. You could go to the cinema every week, and there was a new film every week. It was fabulous. People like, Mel Gibson and I'm trying to think now, like Michael Douglas was bringing out films, and Sylvester Stallone, all those action movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger and all that, all these people, fabulous movies every week. See now, Hollywood is just, I don't know, they've just dilapidated, I think, in my own personal opinion.
Well, I watched Taken. I like Taken quite.
Oh yeah, Liam Neeson, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, and I like some musicals. I'm a bit of a musical freak now and again, but like the Sound of Music, the Sound of Music. Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. But why? So you've got a partner called Liz. Let's not kind of like beat around the bush with that. What did she think about your singing? Because she's the sort of person that really, really supports you, doesn't she?
She does, yeah, she does. I think she likes my singing. She's not a particularly big Elvis fan, but I think she must like my singing, I mean, she does support me and help me out with all the comments from the live feed and things, and it's great, and she helps. This is obviously my home here just now. My little studio here, and in the background there you can see that's my recording microphone with the pop shield behind there. But as I say, it's a very small room, and I've tried to do shows here, not too successfully, but I'm working on that. But we basically use Lizzie's living room and put a backdrop up and all that, because her living room's a lot bigger than this room, So yeah, I think she quite likes me singing.
She just said, love is singing. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, and she's been to a few Shaky concerts with me as well, but so I've taken her along to the Shaky concerts. Never missed a Shaky concert from 1980 onwards. Never missed them. So
yeah. I watched him when he was over the Isle of Wight a few years back.
Oh right, yeah.
It was a festival in the over in the Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
And in a place called I can't remember what it's called now, but watched him there. He was quite good. He was really good.
Yeah.
And what do you think about Cliff Richard?
Cliff Richard, he was okay in his day. I liked his older stuff back in the late 50s, early 60s. I also liked his kind of 70s period when he'd done things like We Don't Talk Anymore, and Dreaming and that kind of thing. Again, he's good live, Cliff Richard. It's the band. See, the band is the same as Shaky's band. Some of Shaky's musicians, Cliff Richard used them, and some of Cliff Richard's backing vocalists, Shaky used them. They intermingled between the two of them, So, but the band, both Cliff's band and Shaky's band, they're just cooking musicians, They're amazing. Anyone could sound good with them, really. I'd love to put a band together and do that. It'd be amazing.
Brilliant. Mark, we're going to play your last song. And thank you very much for joining me tonight.
You're welcome, Steve, anytime.
Hello, DJ is Steve Beer.
Thank you.
I've done that especially for you, Steve. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And as I say, the song before that, "Baby, What Do You Want Me to Do," that basically is my song of the month. I just love it, and it was a very good fan of mine, Rebecca Ellers, that basically told me about that and wanted me to do that for her. And it's just cooking. So thank you so much, Rebecca. I appreciate that. I think she's
Thank you. I
watching.
treasure that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We can go on together with suspicious minds, but we can't build our dreams with suspicious minds. So if I don't friend, just like I said, do I still see suspicion in your eyes? Here we go again, asking where I've been. Yeah, you see these tears and you are crying. We can go on together with suspicious minds. We can.
Okay, guys, we're going to carry this onto our radio. You can listen to our radio, www.crossroadsradio.co.uk. Thank you to Mark Gorman for tonight. Brilliant, really good.
Thank
And
you so much.
in the meantime, guys, good night. God bless. I'm off because I've got to do another show. But in the meantime, thank you to Mark Gorman.
Thanks, Steve. Much appreciated. Thanks for having me on.
Honey, you know.